Hello all my yoga friends, welcome to Got Yoga. I'm Chris Gott, G-O-T-T, don't forget the E. Of course, you know this is Phoebe the Weenie. And today we're going to be finishing up our video on our 5 tips towards a successful headstand. Last tip is today, last tip, tip number 5, foundation. So let's jump into that. Okay, let's show you how to fold up your mat. It's going to be a trifold, so pardon me. You grab the end of your mat, pull it towards the front of your mat, keep going, and then you fold it over again. So you've got 3 folds here. 1, 2, 3. And those 3 layers are going to give you cushion for your head, but also you still have a nice firm area to do your headstand. Okay, now we have to find the crown of our head. So you take the heel of your hand, place it on the bridge of your nose, and then reach your middle finger up onto the top of your head. So your middle finger is at the top of your head. Where the end of your middle finger is, that is the crown of your head. And that is going to come in handy in just a second. All right, time to talk about the hands and the forearms. So when I say the outer edge of your forearm and your hand, I'm talking about here. This is the outer edge of your hand and the outer edge of your forearm. It's going to be pressing in to the mat. Okay, things are getting exciting. We're going to start with our hands now. In your headstand, you want to interlock your fingers and cross your thumbs. This is big here. When you press your hands into the earth and you bring all the weight on your hands, it's gonna hurt this pinky finger. So what you do is you tuck your pinky finger under so it's in line with your other pinky finger. Next tip, cross the thumbs and you're nice and strong in the hands. When I'm going to tell you to press into the outer edge of your hands. You're going to have the creation of a tangerine. There's a tangerine inside of your hands. So your hands aren't collapsing. They're nice and strong, and you imagine there's a tangerine there in your hands. So the fingers are interlocked, that pinky is tucked under, the hands are nice and strong, the thumbs are crossed, and you're cupping an imaginary tangerine. Okay, we've talked about our hands. Now let's talk about our elbow placement. So come down onto your mat. Place your elbows down on your mat. You want your elbows no wider than shoulder distance apart. How are you going to figure out what shoulder distance is? Good question, Chris. Okay, let's figure that out. You place your elbows down on the mat, you look at them. They look shoulder distance apart. Cross your forearms and grab your hands at your elbows. That's how you know you are no wider than shoulder distance apart. Bring your hands out in front of you, interlock your hands, tuck that pinky, cross the thumbs, nice, strong hands with that tangerine, remember, in there? Let's figure out where to put our head. The head is going to come in between the forearms. You're taking the crown of the head and you're placing it directly down onto the mat. And let me turn this way really quick. You're placing it down on to the mat. The back of your head, is resting against your hands. You see that there? So the crown of the head comes down directly onto the mat and the back of your head is resting against your hands. No wider than shoulder distance with those elbows. You can even bring them in a little bit closer just so there's enough space for your head. I wanted to discuss the importance of why your hands need to be like this. Some people just teach you just interlock your fingers and just put your head in your hands.
Well, if you do that, think about it. When you go up into the air, there's no firm foundation for your head. You could injure your neck because the head has the option to be moving.
Also, I want to talk about pressing into the outer edges of your forearm and your hand. When you have your hands ready, set up, and you lift your hands up, and then you roll the outer edges of your forearms and press them into the earth, you're getting rid of that gap right here where your wrists are. And if you're not doing that, and you don't have that firm hands, then your wrists and your forearms start to roll under, and you are then again losing that firm foundation. So everything's collapsing here, and you're putting all of your stability onto your head instead of in your forearm hand foundation, which you don't want. Okay, big deal. You have to engage your shoulders. So you've got your hands set up, you've got your elbows no wider than shoulder distance apart. You bring your head down onto the mat. Now look at my shoulders. You have to engage the shoulder girdle.
My back of my head is resting against my nice strong hands. This is not engaged. This is me pressing my hands, pressing my forearms into the earth, squeezing my elbows together subtly so that they do not widen out. This is what a nice strong shoulder girdle, engaged shoulders looks like. Here, the skin is all loose. Here, everything's nice, tight, and strong and ready to go up into that headstand. And that's how you're going to stay in your headstand.
All right, we've made it. Last step. You've done your preparation poses, so your eyes don't bulge out of your head. You know how to set up your hands, you know how to set up your elbows. Now bring your trifold mat to a wall. Like I said before, a corner wall would be better, so that way when you come up into your headstand, your body can't flip-flop either way. So if you could go to a corner, that would be great. We're just going to use a wall though. A wall is just fine. Get your elbows and your hands set up the way I told you. Have your knuckles about 3 inches from the wall.
Bring your head down the way I told you before. Press your forearms into the earth, engaging the shoulders. Tuck your toes, straighten your legs, and then start to walk your feet towards your face. So your hips are coming closer to over your heart. From here, we're pressing our forearms into the earth. You just tuck your feet up. So you pull your heels towards your buttocks. You might have to do a slight bend in the knees as you pull your heels toward your buttocks, and you draw your feet back towards the wall. Then you straighten your legs. Your feet are over your hips. Your hips are over your heart, and you're pressing your forearms into the earth, squeezing the elbows subtly, pressing your feet up towards the sky. The butt, you're squeezing an imaginary pencil, just subtly squeezing an imaginary pencil, and the lower ribs are tucked in. So this is your headstand. You've done it. Now let's go over if maybe this is not what your headstand ended up looking like.
All right, let's go over another option of getting your body up towards the wall. So previously, I just tucked. I tucked my toes, I straightened my legs, and I walked my feet so my hips come closer to over my heart. Now, this is where some people are like, I can't just tuck both my feet up and come up onto the wall. So another option is to kick up. So you just, whatever leg seems to favor, bring that leg up into the air, and then you
kick that leg back. So you kick it back towards the wall. You pick your other foot up. Bring your heels against the wall. Your buttocks is going to want to lean back against the wall. That's okay. Do that for a second as you realign. Press your forearms and your hands into the earth. And that's going to help you want to engage the buttocks area. So you're squeezing an imaginary pencil. Tuck the lower ribs in. Press the feet up towards the sky so the legs are engaged. And then maybe that'll help you bring one foot off the wall. So the goal is to have your feet over your hips and your hips over your heart. By doing all those alignment cues, that should help reach you up towards the sky and help bring your feet right over your hips to come out of your headstand. You bend the knees, slowly lower the knees and the feet down. Rest the hips back onto the heels and come into your child's pose, Balasana. Just take a break here. Don't sit up right away. If you can't bend your knees to come back in because you kicked up, so you've got to find yourself back down the way you came, still try to bend your knees and then lower one foot down, lower the other foot down. If you are kicking up towards the wall, that means that maybe you need to work on your strength. I would suggest having another person be there with you as you try to do your headstand. So when you're up in your headstand, I would just like to point out that my arms and my hands are doing all the work of holding myself up. So I can turn my head either which way. All the weight is not on my head. That's why we had that nice setup with our hands and our elbows and our forearms in the beginning, so that you're not putting all the weight onto your head. That's all. Thank you so much for joining us for this little headstand tutorial. I hope everything made sense. If you have any questions, comment below. I will be happy to answer them. If you haven't gone on to my Facebook page already, it's at Got Yoga, G-O-T-T-E. You should do that because I post lots of fun and informative things on there. And also, I'm gonna leave a link for my email list below so you can get every new video that I come out with sent straight to your inbox. Have a good day, everybody. See you later. Bye.